Hello, everyone, and welcome to the afternoon session of the first day of the Mountain Moot. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it that you're here. I see we've got some people in the chat already. I just want to make sure that everybody can, first of all, raise your hands. So if you open the participants area, go ahead and raise your hand and just show me that you have some facility with that tool there. You click on participants and then raise hand. Great, seeing everybody's hands going up. Excellent, that's great. So now you can go ahead and lower your hand just so we clear out that. And if everybody would introduce yourself, just say who you are, where you come from in the chat box to everyone. Go ahead and do that. And for those of you who are mentioning the chickens in the chat, yes, these are my actual chickens. I made a video of them when this whole COVID thing started because I thought I thought it'd be a good little thing to have going on in the background there. Great. Mia from the Smithsonian. Hello. Jared. Hello. Lindsay from Rhode Island. Hello, 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 everyone. Look at all this. Great. We've got a lot of aspiring or perhaps already experienced Moodle administrators that are here to learn a little bit about Moodle administration. Just so you know that we're in the right place, what we're going to be talking about today is administering Moodle from within the system itself, so front-end administration. This includes everything you would do through the front-end login to Moodle. We're not going to talk about servers and databases and stuff in this session. This is all about how you can administer Moodle through the front end. We might, touch on a database or a server thing here or there, but this session is focused on those people who administer the Moodle as a user. So a little bit about me. I am the front-end Moodle administrator for Carroll College. I also work with a few other consulting organizations, and I have a few other clients who I contract out administration for. So I've administered Moodle everywhere from K-12 to higher ed, to private, nonprofit, government entities. I've admin Moodles for all these different agencies. So no matter where you sit, we've got some useful things I think that can help save you time and effort when you learn about how to administer Moodle from the front end. So let me go ahead and share my screen and get started. Becky, I see your hands up. Do you have a question? Okay, no problem. I will look at, if your hand's up, you can lower it or whatever. But at any time, if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand over there, and I will be happy to let you take over and talk for a minute to ask us your question or make a comment. Or if you have a question that you want to type into chat, go ahead and do that. I will be actively monitoring the chat, so I can use that to adjust the instruction that I'm giving. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you where to go. So you went to this session today, to the Introduction for Moodle Administrators page. And on that page, for the opening activities, I have we need to create a Moodle. So if you don't have a Moodle that you're comfortable playing around in already, I'll be asking you to upload users, I'll be asking you to upload courses, I'll be asking you to change theme settings, I'll be asking you to do all sorts of weird stuff. So unless you have sort of a sandbox Moodle already in place that you want to use, or a non-production Moodle, I should say, it's probably best to go ahead and create your own Moodle at Moodle Cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This is a free service that Moodle provides. You can have up to 50 users. But the best thing is you get to be the administrator of a Moodle that gets spun up in just a couple minutes. So everybody follow the link to create your very own Moodle for free at Moodle Cloud. Oh, I forgot to mention that During this session, you'll need to see me in one window and the Moodle/Moodle Cloud in another window. So you'll be doing sort of a two-window activity throughout this session. So go ahead and do that. Good question from the crowd. I am recording this session, so everybody behave yourselves. You are on being recorded. So let's go ahead and click create your very own Moodle for free at Moodle Cloud. And that link will take you to this page. And unless you already have an account, you're ready to get started. You want to create a new account. So we're going to use the free trial. And I will click Get Started in the free trial column. And so it's going to ask you to confirm your age, agree to the terms of service, the privacy notice, and the data processing agreement. Please go ahead and do that and click Next. And fill out these details. I'm going to stop my screen share and let you all just go ahead and do that. And once I have mine filled out, I'll be right back with you and we'll get started adminning our very own Moodle. So I do think it has to, I'm not sure, I've never tried it with a landline number. Somebody's asking in the chat, Jared, if it has to be a cell. I do believe they're going to want to send you a text message confirmation. So that is one item that we do need. Thank you, Bruce. Yes, they do require a cell. They send a text message. So once you have entered your personal information, I'm going to share my screen here. You get to name your site. It's going to be something.moodlecloud.com. I'm going to call this intro mountainmoot.moodlecloud.com. I'm going to host in the US. You can host somewhere closer to you if you're off the continental US, of course. I'm just going to choose no real reason and click Next. So I've been sent a text message. So just go on and cruise right through these items here. And you'll get, thanks, take me to my Moodle site now. So if anybody is having issues, this should take only a few minutes to set up. And we have, now I have entered my Moodle as the administrator. So the first thing you'll see is you have a limited trial time there. You get, till the end of August to play around with this Moodle. But the good news here is that we are the administrators. So we're now ready to create courses. We're ready to create categories. We're ready to make users. We're ready to do all sorts of things here in this Moodle as the site administrator. So I am going to show you real quick. You stay on your Moodle site. I'm going to head over to this course. And I want to just show you, Moodle does not have to look like the Moodle that you've gotten started. This is Carroll College's Moodle as it is right now in 2020. This was Carroll College's Moodle in 2017. I'm going to put sort of both of these up here, and I'm going to ask what you notice. I'm going to ask everybody to put something in the chat here. What do you notice about these sites? What's different? What stands out? What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? How have they changed? Just take a look and think about some of the design decisions we've made with these two sites. And go ahead and post that in the chat. That's great. Great points. Less visual clutter, cleaner, 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 cleaner. More friendly, more eye-catching. Right, we've definitely branded. And it's more focused. And this is the direction that our Moodles are going right now. Notice there are a couple common elements that we have maintained even if we've changed the look. In the right side of the page there, we have made the decision to use short links for, or quick links, or whatever you want to call them, for students to make it easier to get to their email, to get to the Carroll apps, to academic tutoring. Those are all the same, but we definitely have updated our icons. We've updated our colors. We've really removed as much color as possible to make it a very light, very modern, clean looking Moodle. We do also have noticed that as time has changed, we now have a block up there in the top right using Zoom and virtual classrooms. We didn't need that in 2017, believe it or not, because we didn't really have virtual classrooms happening at that time. So as the time changes, as the administrator, it behooves you to make decisions that are relevant to students, you know, as time changes. So this is not to say that one design is perfect or that our design is exactly how it should look, but just to say that as time goes on, it makes sense to make decisions to keep your Moodle up to date, modern, and interesting. Now in 2017, that bottom one was really, that looked quite modern in 2017. Students really liked it. We even changed out that photo banner. When it snowed, it would actually snow in Moodle. And when the snow melted, you know, we switched back over to that picture. So as the seasons changed, Moodle changed with it. But we've gotten to the point where we don't want to load that image all the time. So we've taken it away and made it a little bit simpler, a little bit neater. So I'm going to head back into this introduction for Moodle to administrators, and I want to show you how to use this course. First of all, we're going to go through all of these skills in each of these sections, and I have linked to the Moodle docs for this. So as an administrator, Moodle docs are your friend. They are the documentation for how to use Moodle as an administrator. You can search for topics up here. And then you'll see in adding a new user, we have lots of topics down here, and it gives you information on how to use it. It's the one drawback of Moodle Docs is that they're sort of oriented to the more experienced administrator. So one of the goals for this is for you to learn what is available to you as an administrator, not that you will remember every single thing that we click in this course. Of course, it's being recorded, so you can come back and look at it later. But we want you to know sort of generally what is out there and what's available to you. And then you can use the Moodle docs to back up your administration of your Moodle from the front end. I use the Moodle docs all the time. I help edit and contribute to them and participate in Moodle forums and stuff. And if you get into Moodle administration in a big way, you'll be in that same boat, and these Moodle docs will be your friends. So keep that in mind. I've got links to all the relevant stuff that we're going to talk about here. So let's start at the top. First thing we're going to do is add a new user. So let's go to my Moodle site and site administration over here in the drawer on the left-hand side. So I go ahead and click site administration. And then you'll see a whole lot of overwhelming options. We're going to go to users. And under users, we're going to add a new user. So Moodle, the admin menus give you, red exclamation points for required fields, except for some reason username's not required. But let's just add a fake student. We're going to call this Amy Student. Now, usernames are all lowercase. Moodle will correct you if you don't do that. But we're just going to put in the username Amy Student. That's what Amy puts in when she's going to log in. And then the first name and the surname and the email address. I'm just going to put in amystudent@notanemail.com. This works. It just won't, of course, send any emails to anyone. If you want to have an active live user in your Moodle or you want to be a student, you can certainly enter an email address of somebody who's real that can log in and participate in your site, or you can enter an alternative email address for yourself. Now you have the option to either generate a password and notify a user. This is what I'd recommend, and this is what I've been using to add new users after we stopped self-registration. So that's probably the best way to go, but if you ever want to change a user's password, you can do that here and enter a password for the user. So you can add other material for the student, but all you really need is a username, a first name, and a last name, and an email address. So I'm going to scroll on down, and I'm going to click Create User. So go ahead and do that on your Moodle. Why did I choose to stop self-registration? That's a great question, Holly. For the Mountain Moot, we wanted to cut off registration for a couple of reasons. First of all, I didn't want to have to be creating sandbox courses for people all throughout the conference. I wanted to have a defined stopping point where I could create sandbox courses. And then I also wanted to prevent last minute, enrollments by people that were less than interested in Moodle. I can still add people if I need to, but I chose to stop self-registration just so we could sort of get a handle on everybody that was participating. That's a good question. Now I don't have your self-registration without an email address, but I do know there's a plugin that does it based on a mobile number. And that is, we'll talk about installing plugins later, and maybe we'll search for that plugin. If you remind me at that time, we might be able to add it. Holly, great question. The question is, so at Carroll, do you use self-registration? We're sort of using this. At Carroll, we actually authenticate through a single sign-on called Okta that logs the students into email, to calendar, to Google, to Moodle, to the registrar, to everything. So we'll talk about some alternative authentication methods later. What we're using right now is just manually adding a student. And I'll show you how to upload a bunch of users at once we get through the one-offs. So yeah, authentication is another layer we'll talk about a little bit later. But for right now, we have Amy Student, and that's great news. There she is. You can, of course, click Add a New User again and add as many individual users as you like to using this manual user addition piece. Now I'm going to show you how to add a course. So I'm going to go ahead and click Site Administration over here on the side. And then under Courses, you'll see Add a New Course. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new course. Now, there are only two required fields for your course, the full name and the short name. The full name is what shows up here when you're in the course, and the short name is what shows up right here when you're in the course. So I'm going to go ahead and call this test course 1. And maybe I wanted to make a short name TC1. And those are the only two fields that are required. All the other defaults will just work for you to create a course. So I'm going to scroll down and just click Save and Display. And that'll take us back to add participants to the course. So if I want to enroll a user in the course, I can do that. Let's say I wanted to make my new user the administrator of this course. I'll go ahead and click Enroll Users. I'm going to search for Amy Student. You'll see she'll show up right here. And then I'm going to make her a teacher. So there's Amy Student. You can see her role is the teacher. So if I go back to Site Administration, which is over here on the left-hand side, I can either proceed to course content down here, or I can go to Site Administration. I'm going to go to Site Administration, and under Courses, if you look at Manage Courses and Categories, now we'll see we have one category to start with called Miscellaneous. Here's Test Course 1. This Introduction to Moodle course is just a default generated course that every Moodle cloud has added to it. So you should see in that Site Administration, Courses and Categories Management area, Introduction to Moodle, and the test course that you've created. I'll pause for any questions. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question before I continue on to create course categories. All right, everybody understands perfectly. So Peggy, if you search for your Amy Student participant in the search box, I'll just go back and show you real quickly. She should show up. Click Enroll Users, and then you can find Amy. You'll have to search in that box right there. If she's already enrolled, she won't show up. So you see I've already enrolled Amy, so there's no suggestions here. But that's because she's already a part of this course right here. And if you don't see her in the area there, then you might not have saved her. All right, so once I enrolled Amy, I just clicked Site Administration. And then I went back to Courses and Manage Courses and Categories. Lindsay's question, there is a question about the free Moodle Cloud site. Is that a new thing that it's limited? It used to be that it would only deactivate after a period of time of inactivity, but I think that is a new thing where they have it limited. You may be able to get that shown extended. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at this. Rima, you asked, can the student information system do this? The answer is yes, and there's about I know 4 different ways to do it. So we use LDAP, or I should say we have been using LDAP, the Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, to enroll students in the Moodle and to enroll them in courses. We're switching over to SAML for that, but I think LDAP is pretty common way to do that, and I'll show you where those enrollment setups are later. So let's see here. Eric, you asked a good question. Categories are not shown to students, right? Well, you can choose whether or not you show the categories to students. For example, if I go to the front page of the Mountain Moot, just a little look behind the curtain here, this whole sessions list is driven by course categories. So Mountain Moot 2020 is a category. Wednesday, July 15th is a category. Session 1 is a category, and these are the courses within the category. So you can actually use categories, and this is called a combo list on the front page. You can use those to show students, help them navigate through courses, which is the way that we've leveraged it here in the Mountain Moot Moodle. Just very quickly, I'll run into site administration and Mountain Moot and show you what managed courses and categories looks like there. You'll see I've got all these categories over here, and then I have categories within categories. And these are all the courses that are inside of that session 1 category. So, and yes, the categories are different than gradebook categories, Rima, good question. I'm gonna jump back over to course and category management and show you how to create a category. So again, if I'm just starting out on the front page, if I've lost you, which happens from time to time, in the side panel here, if you're not seeing that, you can collapse it and expand it using the 3-button stack up at the top. And click Site Administration. And then under Courses tab, Manage Courses and Categories. And that'll take you to the visual that you're seeing right now. So if I want to create a new category, I click Create New Category up here at the top of the Course Categories section. And I can make it under the miscellaneous category, or I can put it at the top. I'm going to put this one at the top. And I'm going to say this is maybe Fall 2020. So these are my courses for Fall 2020. And I'm going to click Create Category. So now you see I've got this Fall 2020 category, and I don't have any courses in it. If I want to move some course out of miscellaneous into Fall 2020, for example, test course, I can just check the checkbox here. Let's say I had 5 or 6 courses I wanted to move. I could check them all. And then I could use this drop down here to move selected courses to Fall 2020. And then click Move. And I've added test course 1 now into Fall 2020. So there it is. It's part of this, this category, Fall 2020. So that's how to create a single category. The next thing that we're going to talk about here, so this is our single use section here to create single courses, users, and categories. Those are the docs that you're going to want to look for. Feel free to refer to that course whenever you need a reminder of where to find that information. Also, again, we're recording this session, and I'll post it back to this course so you can see it after we've concluded. So the next thing that we want to do, which is probably on everybody's minds, okay, I don't want to create each individual course. I don't want to create each user. I don't want to create, I have maybe hundreds or thousands even of users that I need to upload and put into courses. So there are authentication methods and enrollment methods that can tie to LDAP, that can tie to SAML, that can tie to other protocols. You can even have a flat file that gets updated out of a database. There's a lot of tricky ways to do this, but what I'm going to show you is the very simplest way, if you're starting from 0, to enroll a user into, or a bunch of users into your Moodle, and then a bunch of those users into courses. So we have a question, Rima, are the categories the courses? No, think of the categories as the containers which hold the courses. So I would create a category and call it Fall 2020, and then inside of that category, I would put all of the courses that belong in Fall 2020. And for example, at Carroll, that's how we do it. And I'll hide an old category, like when we're done with Spring 2020, I hide it so none of the students see it anymore. And then I show Fall 2020. So it just automatically replaces all of those courses on the student's front page to make it easy for them to navigate. That's a good question. So let's do a bulk upload of users. So I want you to go ahead and download this upload users file. So you'll head back over to Moodle and into the course that you started this session with, and just download this CSV file of users. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and I want to show you kind of what this looks like. So let me stop my share and reshare. Apologies, I know I take over your screen again when I do this. Feel free to just minimize me back to where I belong. So these columns are the required columns. So I've given you a CSV that's just ready to upload to Moodle. We have a username, test student 1, 2, 3, etc. We have a last name and a first name. So there's going to be student 1 test, student 2 test, student 3 test. And then their email, again, is a false email there that I've created, notemail.com. And let's see, I got a couple of chat questions here. Oh, yeah. So if you're having trouble downloading this file, this is an actual a CSV file, a .csv, comma separated values file. I use Excel to open this. So if you download it and you have trouble opening it, you might need to go to your file browser, right click, open with, and Excel. There you go. Eric got the answer. Thank you, Eric. I'm going to give 50 moot coins to Eric for that. Good job, Eric. So go ahead and right click and open with Excel or Numbers or whatever spreadsheet program you're using. Think of CSV as the Rosetta Stone of data. Almost all computer programs will accept a CSV for upload when you want to add data into a database. Pretty much every web-based software has some way to do that. So the other thing that I've put in here is the course that I want them to enroll in. So I want you to adjust this course 1 to whatever the short name of your course was. If you guys remember, I had TC1 as my test course. So go ahead and adjust this just to make sure these students get enrolled in your test course. And there is one more thing that, since I originally made this, I want you to change role 1 to student. They used to identify these roles by their numbers. Now they identify them by the short name. So go ahead and adjust that a little bit. So the way that you would use a CSV file, and is a course name case sensitive? No, it is not. And Peggy, you're asking where to find the download link. That'll be in the Introduction to Moodle for Administrators page. About halfway down the page, you'll find Upload Users File is what it's called. And so, yeah, I'll continue on here. Oh, thank you for that link, Eric. That's great. So what you would do if you were actually using this in a real world scenario is you would maybe download all the information, your students' emails, first names and last names, create usernames for them, and replace these first name, last name, email, all of this stuff with your actual users. Maybe you used a Google Doc to get people to sign up for a training that you're doing, and you want to use this to enroll them all in the courses. That would be a good use case for getting people's information, using the CSV, and then using it to not only enroll them in the Moodle, but enroll them in a course. Usernames do have to be unique. That's very important because the username and the emails have to be unique as well. You can't have two users with the same email. As Nell pointed out earlier, not everybody has an email, and I'm not sure how this would work with the cell phone, the mobile phone number plugin that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Haven't played with that yet, but maybe we'll give it a shot today. And then I'm just going to delete this group 1 column for now. You can feel free to go ahead and do that. Rima, yes, their username can be their email. That's how I've done it at the Mountain Moot for many years now, until I switched to self-registration. And using their email as their username is actually a really good idea, because even if you have, let's say you've got John Smith, right? And you have 3 John Smiths, and you try to create usernames, John.Smith, they're going to be the same. But John Smith, and John Smith will all have different emails because emails have to be unique. So using the email as a username is a really great shortcut. So yeah, I'm going to throw you 30 moot coins for that, Rima, because that's a great That's a great question, and it led me to a great answer. Thank you. So the do I have 2 students with test email 13? Oh yeah, I do. Everybody fix that before we upload this. That's got to be test student 14. Dang, Drew, you guys are on top of it. I don't know that I have. I don't know that I can keep up with you guys. That's really impressive. I'm going to remove that hyperlink real quick too. Okay. So let's just save this again somewhere on our computer. I'm just going to stop my share so I can get back over to the browser. I'm going to save this to my desktop so I have an easy place to find it. I'd suggest that you do the same thing. Save it somewhere that you'll be able to find it. And let me share my screen one more time. All right, so now go to Site Administration, which is over there in that window. And let's go to Users. And then we're going to upload users. So notice that right here, upload users. Peggy, good question. Yes, it will. Just make sure that you save as a CSV. We've got to make sure we have the right file type. So I am going to now drag and drop that upload users file that we just modified a little bit into the drag and drop area here in upload users. So notice there's my file. It's uploaded. And I'm ready to click upload users. The great thing about this process is that it's going to stop you and show you what it's going to do. So let me adjust my size here so we can see this. So it's showing me, okay, here's what I see. Moodle's telling me this is what I see, and this is what I'm going to upload. You have several different settings here in upload users. You can only add new and skip existing users, or you can update existing users only. So for example, when I'm adding new users, I'll use add new only. That's what we should do here. But let's imagine that I wanted to change a user's enrollment that's already in my Moodle. I can still use upload users to do that. So let's say I've got 500 users in Moodle and I want to enroll them all in some course. Let's say it's, Introduction to Moodle 101 or something. I can actually create a CSV of those users that are already in there, and I can update existing users only, and that would just enroll them all in the course that I specify in that CSV. Just like I've put in course 1, TC1, this is going to enroll all those users in that course. But what we're looking for right now is add new only, skip existing users. You can choose default values for your students if you want to put them all in Helena or you want to put them all wherever. You can do that in this page as well. So let's go ahead and bite the bullet here and click upload users. And let's see what happens. So Moodle will give you some information. The summary's down here at the bottom. Users created 14. It shows me none of the users have a weak password because this change me password is going to force them to have a change when they come in. And then you can see that I've enrolled all my students successfully in this course, TC1 as a student. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And now I'm going to head over to that course and we're just going to have a look at all those students. So I'm going to go to Site Administration, Courses, Manage Courses and Categories. And if I look in my Fall 2020 category, I see I've got Test Course 1. I'm going to go ahead and click that. This interface is a little weird because now Test Course 1 has showed up here. And if I want to look at the enrolled users in Test Course 1, I'm going to go ahead and click Enrolled Users. And now we can see that those students, test student 1 through 14, have all been successfully enrolled in this course by a CSV upload. There is no limit on how many students you can upload by a CSV. well, I guess I should say you're only limited by the server that's backing you up, but you'd have to go a long way to break that server, at least in this case. So that is the upload users feature. It is your friend as a Moodle administrator. Can I answer any questions before I move on to uploading courses? So the next step we're going to take here is we're going to upload courses there. So Jared, why don't you unmute and tell us what happened? Why didn't the upload? So you're not seeing the list of students in the course that you put them into, is that correct? Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, so I clicked that upload CSV file, it engaged, I got into that section where it showed, everyone kind of was in a pending status, and then I clicked that upload button. And when we went to manage courses and categories, I'm not seeing what you're displaying there. So obviously I did something wrong. I just can't figure out where I did it. And the reason I'm excited about this is that I've been having them do self-enrollments, which got out of hand, and people that I didn't even know were enrolling in it. And then two, I've been manually doing it. So this is a neat feature I want to drill down.
So I think my guess is that you had the wrong short name for the course in your CSV.
Okay.
So you find that if I were to go to, so this test course one, in the store, that's going to show up right here in that test course. So you want to make sure you have that text precisely in the course one field in your CSV. Eric has a really good suggestion. Copying and pasting the short name just to make sure it's correct is a good thing. So that might be what it was.
Okay.
Go ahead and give it a try again, and you can let me know if you have other trouble. Do I have any other questions? Okay. Great. So we've created our first users. Now we're going to head back over to this course, and we've got an upload courses file. So go ahead and download that upload courses file. So you see I've downloaded this upload courses file. I'm again going to open that up, and then I'll stop my share and show you what that looks like. So the required fields for upload courses are full name and short name, and we're supposed to have, I believe, a category as well. Hold on, let me double check this. The documentation here. So let's add just a category column. I think this is a required field now. If not, it'll be helpful for you to know. And then go to your course. Again, let me show you this. So in site administration, we're going to head back over to courses, manage courses and categories. And then when you click on a category, for example, fall 2020, up here at the top in the URL, you'll see the category ID. So that's category ID 3. When I am trying to add courses to a category using a CSV, like I want to make sure all of these courses go into that category, I'm just going to put that category ID in my CSV file in the category area. So I'll go ahead and do that. And so I'm going to add some 3s here and update this file. So when you're creating these courses, notice that you can set the format. We haven't talked about course formats yet, but there's lots of different. There's weekly, there's topics, there's collapse topics is one that we use. You can set a start date and an end date. You can decide whether or not you want your course to be visible. 1 is visible, 0 is hidden. And then you can upload your summaries here as well. So the summary is, for example, oh yeah, great. Thank you, Marty. I'm gonna throw you some moot coins for that. Marty answered the question in the chat. We're just uploading the course shell. We're not restoring any content into the courses using the CSV. There is a step where I can show you how to do that. For example, when we created the sandbox courses for the Mountain Moot Moodle, I was using a course upload and a user upload to do that. And you probably noticed there was a video that was waiting for you there in the sandbox course. I did that by restoring all the courses from after I did the upload, and I'll show you that step. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Oh, yes, Eric, good question. Can we upload course images? Not that I'm aware of, but we can set a default course image at the site level. And Marty points out again, yeah, you could use a template course to upload an image. So I think that actually category 2, Rob, is the miscellaneous course, and category 1 is used for some other administrative bit. I'm not sure. They just they create sequentially, so you'll just keep creating categories and they'll have IDs that are sequential related to everybody else. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this uploaded courses file, and then we'll upload them and see if we can get them to upload in our Moodle. So I'm stopping the share. I'm going to save this to my desktop as a CSV file, just so I know where to get it. And let me share my screen with you, and I'll take you back into our Moodle Cloud instance. Now I'm going to click Site Administration again over here in the drawer. And under Courses, you'll find an Upload Courses link. And we'll just drag and drop that CSV into that file lightbox there, that upload section. So the upload mode, again, is a lot like upload users. You're going to find that upload courses and upload users are like two designed from the same heart of the same designer because they operate in much the same way. You give Moodle a CSV to bulk create users or to bulk create courses. So you can skip existing courses and create new ones, or you can update existing courses using this. This can be really useful. For example, if you need to change the summary of every course after you've created them all again, once again, you can use upload courses to update existing courses as well. And if you take a look at this upload courses, this is the full list of things that you can include in that CSV. So that's a lot of stuff. You can enable and disable enrollments. You can do start dates. You can do all sorts of stuff. So what I'm showing you here is not the end of courses not the end of things that you can put into the CSV. So do rely on that documentation. Rob, that's a great question. Can you upload courses and have them based on an existing one? Yes, I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click preview. And it'll show me that, okay, we're ready. This all looks good. And then if I want to generate from an old course, or I'm sorry, it's this one right here, restore from this course after upload. So let's say that I wanted every course to have a certain block in it. I wanted every course to have maybe an intro video at the top of the sandbox courses like we did for Mountain Moot. I would just input the short name of that course here. So if I wanted to restore all of these courses from my test course, Remember my short name was TC1. If I put TC1 in there, it will take everything that's in that test course and put it in every one of these courses that I'm uploading from the CSV. So that way you can give it a give your courses some content right from the get-go. So you can create multiple courses based off another one. If you have a backed up MBZ file, you can restore from a file after upload. For example, if you've downloaded a backup of a Moodle course, you could upload it there. And yeah, Marty's correct. You can include the template course short name in the CSV for upload. That's true. And Holly, no, just content. You'd want to use upload users to enroll users in these courses. And then, yes, you can rewrite a whole course, Gopal, but I would suggest that given how lightweight courses are in the database, that instead of rewriting a whole course, maybe you create a new one. I've just seen things go sideways rewriting whole courses, so I would try to create a new one. Oh, great suggestion, Eric. Cohorts could definitely help with that. We'll talk about cohorts here in a moment. So anyway, I'm going to restore from TC1. Notice that I can set default course values. Whatever's in the CSV is going to override these default course values. So even though I've got miscellaneous right here, these courses are going to go into fall 2020 because we put that category in the CSV course or in the CSV file. So then we can do that. So let's go ahead and click Upload Courses. And let's see if this file works. All right, well, we're spinning here. Come on, Moodle Cloud. Oh, yeah, the category column label is case sensitive. All of the column labels are supposed to be all lowercase. So make sure that you have those, set that way. All right. Well, I'm going to try and reload this page because I am having too much time to wait. All right, I'm gonna go out and start from the beginning, just to see if I've got a problem here with my CSV file or if Moodle Cloud is being slow. Thanks, Marty. Yes, I broke Moodle Cloud. I would be very impressed if I did. Maybe we're just limited. Peggy, you got an error message as well? Okay. Well, maybe there was a problem with our CSV file. My experience with this is that these usually resolve over time, but of course, here we are. So Katie, you got yours uploaded, but why don't you go ahead and tell us what the caveat is there? Okay, it looks like Lisa was able to upload. Yeah, I think maybe Moodle Cloud might be a little bit interesting after maybe they already updated to 3.9 or didn't. All right, so it looks like most of us were able to upload. Oh, look, here are my courses. Cool. So my upload went through as well. Huzzah. So when you get to the end of that course upload, it'll identify any errors that you had there, and it'll tell you like this course didn't upload or that course didn't upload. So that page can indicate that things have gone wrong with your CSV upload. So those are the the two uploads here, uploading users and uploading courses. I would encourage you to refine your CSV and make sure it uploads well on a test site before doing a production site. That's one of the things that I use Moodle Cloud for. And we also have a test site on our service here at Carroll, so I can break things without being too worried about it. Do you have any questions about that before I move on? All right, great. So the next thing I want to talk about is roles. Roles are really powerful for the administrator. I'll give you the example, the sort of the classic example of why I would use a role in my Moodle. And one of the reasons is I had a teacher come to me and say, you know, I have a student who I want to help me. I have a TA that I want to help me grade materials. And I want them to be able to grade the assignment, but I don't want them to mess with the grade book. And I don't want them to mess with this. I don't want them to be able to add that. I don't want them to be able to do this. I only want them to be able to add grades for students in the assignment module. The cool thing about Moodle is that you can create as many new roles as you want to and give them a dizzying array of combinations of permissions. So let's talk about how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click Site Administration. So you can follow along with me here and go to Site Administration. And then under Users, there is a Define Roles. Where did that go? There it is. Under Permissions, right here, there's Define Roles. So go ahead and click Define Roles. And you'll see all of the default roles that are here. We have students, managers, teachers, all of those sorts of things. I'm going to click Add a New Role down here at the bottom. And I'm going to create a TA role that's only allowed to grade assignment modules and do nothing else in a course. So what I want to start with, or my archetype or template, you could think of it, is the student. So I'm going to start with student permissions, and I'm going to click Continue. Now, here's my new role. I want to change the short name maybe to Teaching Assistant. And we'll call it Teaching Assistant. You can add a description here if you like to. You don't need to, but you could add maybe, you know, this role, student, except it can grade assignment modules. So it might help to, if you're going to be creating multiple custom roles, keep these descriptions updated. For example, I have at Carroll, I think 6 or 7 different levels of TA now for different departments. Some departments want them to only grade assignments. Some departments want them to manage forums. Some departments want them to have almost full access as a teacher. So that custom description, as you go down the road, can help you keep track of who's got which role. So the context for this role may be assigned just like a student in the course or in an activity module. Now, I want for teachers to be able to assign this role. So I'm going to allow teachers to assign this role. These are, in other words, people that can give this role to others. If you don't select anything here, only you, the site administrator, can assign this role to people. And then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to do this real fast just to show you how many permissions there are. These are every single permission within Moodle. So everything that a user can do in Moodle, theoretically, is listed on this page right here. You see that some of them are checked to allow. So those are what the student by default is allowed to do. Remember, we started with the student archetype. And so if I start up here at the top, the only thing I want to change for this role is to make it ability to grade other people's assignment submissions. So I'm going to use this filter here, and I'm going to search for assignment, and that'll just show me all of the things that can happen with the word assignment in it. Notice this page got a lot shorter, so it's a lot easier to find when you use this. So if I want to give this student permission to grade an assignment, all I have to do is check that allow button right there. And so now what I have when I click create this role down here at the bottom is a teaching assistant that is able to grade assignments only, but otherwise acts as a student in the Moodle course. So I'm going to go ahead and click create this role. And then you see it just says, yes, I've created the role teaching assistant. And when I go now to a course, let's imagine I wanted to go to my test course. And I want to enroll a student. I'll click enroll users up here. And then I'll just pick a student here. So maybe me, I want to give me this permission. In this role drop down, you can choose teaching assistant. And I am going to be enrolled as a teaching assistant. And that's a good point, Eric. They don't show up if they're already enrolled. If you want to add a student role, for example, the student one test, if I want to make them a teaching assistant, I'll click this little pencil here, search teaching assistant, and click the save button right here. So now I've given this test student one right here the teaching assistant role as well. So can a role be visible for just a specific category? So I don't know, maybe. That's a really good question. Right now, all of my roles show up everywhere. So I would use the nursing TA role. I actually have a role called nursing TA at Carroll, but it just shows up in the list with all the other roles. So let's see, default not set beside grade assignment. I don't know where that is. Was that in here? No. So if there's a default not set, that's usually not a big deal. That just means that there's not an additional setting. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Any other questions about roles for, oh, the red triangle under capability assignment? Yeah, let's go back and I'll show, that's a really good suggestion, everyone. Thank you for bringing that around. I'm going to head back into course administration, and I am going to go, or site administration, I should say, sorry, and go to define roles. When you go in and you're, for example, I'm going to edit this teaching assistant role, Moodle is going to give you notifications that you have some risks here. So if you give a student the ability to grade an assignment, this is telling you that the users can add files and text that might allow cross-site scripting. So anytime you give a student a teacher role of any kind, teacher permission of any kind, you could expose yourself to the student, acting as a teacher. So any teacher in your Moodle course is going to be able to do some, nefarious activity by default if that's what they wanted to do. And Moodle is constantly updating their security to make sure this doesn't happen. But the red triangles let you know that when you give a particular kind of user here this permission, then you're inherently exposing yourself to some risks. So yeah, that's yeah, there you go. So, oh, Holly, the red triangle under capability assignment, we're also seeing default not set under allow. Let's see, capability assignment. I am not sure where that is. So anyway, that's how you create a role. and you can create multiple different roles, as many as you want to, and we can use those to augment the way that we're using Moodle and giving people more specific roles than just teacher or user. So I'm interested to talk more about this roles, maybe at one of the lunch or evening sessions. If you guys want to sit down at a table and make a role discussion, that would be great. Oh, Marty, thanks for everybody in chat. Marty's given us some example custom roles. And Javen, we are going to put the recording of this session here in this course, and then we're going to have a whole separate site on mountainmoot.com where we'll have all of the sessions from all of the days listed. So yeah, everybody can come back and see these sessions. So if I go too fast, forgive me, I do that sometimes, and you'll be able to come back and see the recordings. So here we are now on the front page of my course. And we're actually halfway through the session, so I want to give everybody about a 10-minute break. So we're going to come back here at 2:20 p.m. GMT -6, that's Montana Daylight Time, and or Mountain Daylight Time, I should say. So everybody go get a water, take a break, you know, get a snack, whatever you like, and I will meet you back here in about 12 minutes. So have a break, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, everyone, welcome back. I'm going to, at this point, ask Randy, are you in the room? If you could unmute yourself.
Yes, I am.
I'm going to introduce it. Oh, no. I want to introduce everybody to Randy Thornton, who is 5 times the administrator I'll ever be. And I've done some work with him, and he's just done amazing stuff. And Randy's a longtime Mountain Mooter, and I'm really, really glad to have him on the team here. Randy, can you give us a quick rundown of the risks? You posted a little bit about the red triangle in the role area. I want to give you a chance to elaborate on that a little bit and tell us where that stuff comes from.
Sure. Well, I work with roles a great deal, permissions and all of that stuff. The little red triangle, so when you see that next to roles, there are 2 general types. One of them is a security warning for the system. The most important one is something called trusted content. In the site administration security settings, it's something called trusted content. That means you're allowing your teachers to put content in the edit box in Atto or an editor that is potentially dangerous, that could be exploited by, usually by cross-site scripting or something. For instance, a teacher could put in JavaScript in a Moodle edit box if they have this permission, and it will run. It will actually execute the code. So you don't normally do that unless you have a really special reason to do that. So that's one thing it warns you about. The other is the one that Ryan mentioned, which is a type of permission or capability that is inappropriate or not normal for a role. For instance, allowing the student role to grade, allowing the student role to manage the course, you know, stuff like that. And those are things that are judged to be so by the developers who build those, who build the standard roles. So that's always a warning. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. If you do know what you're doing, then you should be aware of the risks, and you can always go and find out more about the particular risks.
So yeah, thank you, Randy, for that explanation. That was wonderful. When creating roles, like Randy said, if you don't know what you're doing, make sure you know that you have some idea. And as always, your teacher roles are going to be trusted people in terms of site security. Most of them aren't going to be in a place to exploit your site. Most of them would not want to. Most of these people, are either working for you or for the institution that you work for. And it's necessary to give them permission to do some of these things in order for them to fulfill their role. So do keep that in mind. And like Randy said, if you have any questions, make sure you chase those down before you make a decision that could expose you to some level of risk. So
yeah, I'd like to add two things. Sorry, I just jumped in because I got out of a prior meeting, but if you didn't mention these already, I'll just reiterate because they're important. One is it's better not to change the default roles, but to make new roles and give explicit permissions to them if you can. And when you do, you want to test those out with some trusted group of people. So if you're altering the teacher role, you might make a new role based on teacher, change your permissions, go to your little pilot group of teachers that you trust, 4 or 5 or whatever, and have them test it. That's a really good process or procedure, because when you're changing roles, you're always working with potential security in the site. So you just want to follow due diligence.
Great. Thanks a lot, Randy.
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to continue on with our little trainings here. So let me catch back up and see where I'm headed here. All right, so let's imagine that you want to have a group of students that are constantly going to be updated into particular courses. I'm going to show you how to set up cohorts. So let me get rid of my messages here. So when we go to cohorts, in your Moodle site, under Site Administration, under Users, you'll find Cohorts. So I don't have any cohorts that are created. I'm going to add a new cohort. Feel free to click along with me here. So generally, cohorts are used to move large groups of students through a process in your Moodle. From my perspective, I might say the class of 2022 or something like that, right? So these are all the students that are going to graduate in 2022. Maybe I want to enroll them in bulk in one course during their freshman year, another 2 courses during their sophomore year, another 2 or 3 courses during their junior year, and I just want to keep them all in that same group. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a class of 2022 cohort. I'm going to give it the system context, and that's all I have to do. I just have to click Save Changes, and now I have a cohort here called Class of 2022. I can add users to this individual cohort right here by clicking Assign. And it'll show all of my users over here. Now, if you have hundreds or thousands of users, this will be too long, so you'd have to search to add an individual user. But let's say that I just wanted to add these students here to this cohort. So now these students all belong to the Class of 2022 cohort. Now, if I go back to cohorts here, you'll see that when things get large and you have hundreds or thousands of students, you might want to upload cohorts. Great, yeah, and Rob just asked about this. Can you import users in a cohort like you can into a course? Yes, you can. That's under this Upload Cohorts tab right here. And the CSV file format is available on Moodle Docs. I'm not going to go into it just because it'd take a while. But I can show you Upload Cohorts. And it'll tell you right here in the file what sort of fields we need. So we need like the name, the ID number, and the description, for example. And you can also, yes, that is for creating cohorts, but you can also upload users to those cohorts through the upload users file. So if you needed to create multiple cohorts, you could use this. And then in the upload users file, you could upload users into cohorts en masse. And so you'd have users in these sort of site-wide groups. I'm not going to go through all the steps for those, but I want you to know, to be aware that they're there. And I want to show you why you might use them. So if I created an upload cohorts file for, class of 21, 22, 23, et cetera, then I would have these, I'd have them all showing up in my system cohorts. And thank you, Randy, for that upload cohorts. It's in the chat if you want to go to that documentation page. But now I'm going to go to a one of my courses, for example, this course here, course 36. And if I go into the participants tab over here, and I want to enroll users, I can actually select a cohort from this dropdown. So now that I've created class of 2022, I've added 5 or 6 users in there. I can say, I want everybody from class of 2022 to be enrolled in this course. So I'll go ahead and click, I could give them whatever role I wanted to. In this case, I'm going to keep them with the student role. Enroll selected users and cohorts, and then everybody from that cohort gets enrolled in this course. So that's one way to use a cohort, to enroll students in courses en masse, so all of those students get enrolled in a course right away. I'm going to show you another item. When we're in our participants menu, if you click this settings drop-down menu here, and you go to enrollment methods, I can add a method called, so you see here I've got manual enrollments. And if I want students to self-enroll in this course, I can use the enable eyeball here to enable students to self-enroll. And this is what we're using in the Mountain Moot Moodle. This is how you're enrolling in all the courses yourself. When you get to that page, it says sign me up for this session. It's because we have self-enrollment enabled for each of those courses, and you can just click and it'll make you a student in that course. So every time you visit a session and say, sign me up for this session, what's actually happening in Moodle is you're enrolling in a Moodle course through the self-enrollment plugin. So if you want students to self-enroll for courses, you can do that. But if you want the enrollments in a course to dynamically update as you add and remove people from a cohort, you can use the cohort sync method. And as you see here, I can say, maybe this is class of 2022. I want this cohort, class of 2022, to be enrolled as a student. And I could even add them to a group if I had created a group in the course. But I'm not going to do that right now. So when I click add method, then you'll see I've got 6 enrollments and 6 manual enrollments. Of course, they're duplicates at this point because I've added the same students over and over again. But that brings us to the point that one student may be enrolled in your course in multiple different ways. So I've got these students enrolled manually, but I also have them enrolled via a cohort sync. So these, if I add a student to this cohort now, they'll be automatically updated. If I remove a student, then I will have, I'll have them unenrolled from the course as well. So that's one enrollment method that you can use to enroll lots of students in a course if you don't want to upload users every time. That's a good way to set that up. I have, just as a working example of this, I'm going to take you over to the Mountain Moot Commons, and I want to show you, again, kind of behind the scenes here. In participants, under enrollment methods, you'll notice I have lots of cohort syncs here. So what I did is I actually put everybody that enrolled in our Moodle into a cohort based on their response to this profile field question. And so you're being dynamically updated in this Mountain Moot Commons, and I have multiple cohorts being synced in here so that everybody who's in the elementary or middle school or high school cohort gets enrolled automatically based on their selection at the sign up step into our Moodle. I've connected this to groups. If you remember earlier, we were talking about groups. So for example, in Mountain Moot Commons, I'll just open this introductions forum. You'll see everybody's got a little badge here that shows what group they're in: high school, middle school, higher education, private business, higher education, high school, etc. Those are images of groups that are based on their cohort enrollments. So that's, if you're wondering how that was happening, that's sort of the behind the scenes look at how that works. So those are enrollment methods. You can also at the site level enable something called a meta link, where you can link a course from one course to the next and enroll everybody that's enrolled in this course in the other course. So I'm going to show you how to set that up. Once again, go to Site Administration, and then under Plugins, there is an Enrollment Plugins section. And so I'm going to go to Manage Enroll Plugins. And then you'll see there are other ways that you can enroll students. And by default, a lot of these are disabled. I am actually going to enable this course meta link. And then I'll show you how I use that on a daily basis to combine sections of courses. So my use case for this is when I have a teacher that teaches, say, Chem 101, and they teach sections A and section B. They want all their students in a single course. So they might want to just borrow all those enrollments from section B and put them in section A and then teach everybody there instead of maintaining two different Moodle courses. So I am going to meta link these students from, I think it was course 36, into another course. So I'm going to head back to home, and I am going to go to course 35. And let's say I wanted to have all these users enrolled from 36 to 35. I'll again go to participants. And then this drop down over here, I'll go to enrollment methods. And I'll add method here. Notice course meta link shows up now that I've enabled that at the site level. And I'll just search for course 36. Okay, there it is, course 36. And notice I could create a new group inside of this course if you use groups and groupings. I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll click add method. Now you'll see we've got 6 users enrolled from course 36 over to course 35. So if I head back into my participants list for this course, you'll see all those students are enrolled automatically from that old course to this new course. Now, if I were to unenroll those students from that original course, or I was to mess up my cohort sync that I set up before, it would cascade down and unenroll the students all the way down. So like if I unenroll you from that class of 2022 cohort, then you'll not only be unenrolled from course 35, you'll also be unenrolled from course 36. So that is, yeah, that's the, so what do students in course 36 see? That's a great question, Rob. They do see both. So when I'm enrolling, when I'm doing this at Carroll, I actually create a sort of a parent course that's CS or CH101 A/B, and I enroll both courses into that parent course, and then I hide the other 2 courses so that the students don't see the course that they were originally enrolled in. And that'll work even when the course is hidden. It'll keep passing their enrollments from that hidden course to the visible course. So that's a good That's a good question, Rob. The students in course 36 would see both 36 and 35 in the instance that we've set up here. So any other questions about enrollment methods? Great. Oh, conditional enrollment. Eric, are you comfortable unmuting and asking us telling us a little bit more about what you mean there?
Well, I don't know. I have a big accent, so sorry for that. Yes, I wanna like enroll a student based on the completion of another course. Like when they finish a course, then automatically enroll them in another course.
That is a good question. I think I have sort of a basic idea of how to do that, but I want to offer 100 moot coins for anybody who knows how to do that in the room. Do we have anybody that wants to earn some moot coins that has an idea how to enroll based on course completion or some other condition? And yes, of course, Eric, don't apologize for your accent. That's all good.
Conditional activities leading to a course completion set, and then taking that information and logging it. I don't actually know. That's a guess.
I think you're barking up the right tree. Like we'd set course condition completion in that course, and then upon completion, you know what? I'm going to leave that out there with a bounty on its head. So anybody that can figure that out, and I'm going to try too, so you have to beat me to it. But fortunately, I'm running a conference, so you guys have a good chance at getting to it before I do, because I'm working on a bunch of other stuff. But we're gonna put 100 moot coin bounty on conditional enrollment based on completion of a course. If you can set that up and make it work in your Moodle instance, that's worth 100 moot coins. So I'm going to make a note that I've put that bounty out there. And I'll tweet about it too.
I like to give people a little help with this one. In Moodle version 4, there'll be an even cooler way to do this. That's the only hint I'll give you.
Thanks, Randy. Always with the inside information on unreleased versions of Moodle. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do this in 3.9, and maybe you want to look into the documentation on 4. So we're going to leave that bounty out there. All right. So that's a great question, and we are going to get a resolution of that by the end of the conference. So I want to head back over and make sure that still on track here for making sure I have all the stuff that I had planned for you to learn. Oh, great. Okay, now we get to the really fun stuff. So let me share my screen with you and show you about modifying your theme. So theming is a big, there's all kinds of themes out there. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of themes for Moodle, maybe even thousands. And they allow you to change the look and feel of your Moodle overall. So I had a question about this in a previous session that I was doing this morning. So that someone asked, can I change the look and feel of my sandbox course in the Mountain Moot Moodle? And the answer is yes, you can, because we have course level themes turned on, but we're going to talk about how to do it for the whole course. So under site administration, under appearance, you've got, there are 3, well, for Moodle Cloud, there's 3 previously installed themes. And the one that we start with is Moodle Cloud, but I want to go to Theme Selector. And let's just change our theme to this classic theme. So go ahead and click Use Theme under Theme Selector, under Classic. And then you're going to see your site change its look and feel from the ground up. So you can install themes like plugins. So now notice that this course, this whole Moodle looks different because I've changed the theme. I've changed the skin of my Moodle so that it looks different for users. So now we've got this this classic theme here, and we're going to again go to site administration. Notice that this operates a little bit differently. In the Boost theme, we've got that drawer. In the classic theme, we have this old school sort of nested site administration navigation. So under site administration, under appearance, under themes, let's go to theme selector again. And let's just change it back to Boost for now because that's the most modern theme. Boost is going to be, going forward, your sort of basic Moodle theme that everybody's going to start out with. So I'm going to go ahead and click Use Theme. And now we're back to the way that our Moodle looked originally. So let's go to Site Administration. Oh, Holly mentioned Fordson. Yes, the theme we're using in the Mountain Moot Moodle is actually Fordson, so in case you're wondering. So under Appearance here in Boost, you'll notice that you've got Boost themes. You can change the settings in Boost theme. So go ahead and click on Boost here under Themes. And you can do lots of interesting things. So let's say that we wanted to change our brand color to like a Carol-oriented color. So we're purple here at Carol. So I'm going to choose sort of a light purple to be my theme color. And so when I do that and I click Save Changes, you're going to notice now that everything's going to be recolored with this purple purple color. So let's see. There we go. Takes a little bit while to propagate, but you'll see now my links, instead of being orange, are all purple. The highlighted bits in the drawer over here are all purple. So I'm going to go back to Site Administration. And I'm going to go to Appearance. And I'm going to go to Boost. And then I want to just show you in Boost, there are some advanced settings. If you write CSS, you can inject CSS into every page, so you can hide and show things here. I don't want to get into that because I'm not the guy to teach you CSS. I know just a little bit, but there are a lot of better people out there to ask about that. So I'm going to head back to Site Administration, and I'm going to go back to Appearance. And then you'll notice that you've got under Appearance a bunch of options in the Appearance section, no matter what your theme is. So for example, if you want to add logos, you can click a logo right here. And you can upload a logo, which is going to show up on your front page. And then the compact logo is also going to show up in different places. I'm going to go ahead and just add an image there so you can see how that works. And I'm going to use our Mountain Moot logo for both of these. I happen to have these on hand. You know, the best that you can use for these is a transparent PNG file. So you want to make sure that that you get that from whatever marketing department for your university or for your K-12 school, or you want to use maybe your personal logo if it's a personal site. So if I go ahead and save changes, we're now going to see that those Mountain Moot logos are going to be displayed throughout the site. And so there, next to my new Moodle site, now we see that little Mountain Moot logo showing up there. So again, back to Site Administration under Appearance, we can change lots of different options here. I'm going to leave these up to you all because I don't want to get too bogged down in Appearance. We could do hours of modifications for appearance, but I just want you to be aware that this is where you can change those items. And I want to show you in the way of appearance one more interesting thing that you can do. In site administration, under language, we can, first of all, I would just want to show you install language packs. So if you select language packs, if you want to change, oh, well, we can't do that in Moodle Cloud. Never mind, sorry. You'll be able to do that if you host it yourself. You could install a Spanish language pack or a French or a German language pack or Russian. There's they've translated Moodle into I don't even remember how many languages now, but you can change all of the language there. And yeah, over 145 now. That's great. And we don't get plugins or language packs on Moodle Cloud. That's right, Eric. So we won't be installing plugins, but I will show you where to do that. But the language packs range from everything from, like I said, simple English to 145 different language. You can even install a pirate language pack if you wanted to. That's one of my favorites. I might turn it on a little bit later. So in language customization, this is also not available on Moodle Cloud, but in your site, you can change your language in language strings using language customization. So for example, in the Mountain Moot site, I changed the word courses to sessions because that's a little bit more relevant for my users. So instead of my courses up here, we see my sessions. Same deal here. Instead of my courses, we see my sessions. And if you want to enroll, I've changed the button to say, enroll and enroll me or sign me up for this session, I think is what I had it say. So I'm going to walk you through this in Mountain Moot Moodle. Apologies, you can't do this in Moodle Cloud, but I just want to show you how it works. So I go to Site Administration, and under Language, I'm going to go to Language Customization. I choose which language I want to customize. The English United States is the one I want to customize. I'm going to open Language Pack for editing. And then it's going to load up the language pack, and I can search for strings in different components of Moodle. So for example, if I wanted to look in the core Moodle.php and see language strings containing the word courses, I can search those. And if I wanted to change, for example, here you can see I've changed available courses to available sessions in Mountain Moot Moodle. So you can change anytime you find a button or you find a piece of language somewhere in Moodle that you want to customize to your area, you can do so using the language customization feature. I'll leave that there, just letting you know that you can do it without applying any changes. It's a really neat way to change the language anywhere you see it in Moodle. All right, I'm going to switch back over to, I just want to point out that you can customize your Moodle using plugins. I've given you the installing plugins docs and the plugins directory. Yes, Holly, that changes system-wide. So when you change that language string, it applies everywhere that those words are called from that PHP document. So the plugins directory is a great place to find plugins for Moodle. If you click that, you can go and see there's all kinds of plugins. So let's say if I wanted to find a new theme, I can choose theme from this drop down, and it'll show me some available themes that I could use. So Fordson, this right here is the one that we're using on the Mountain Moot Moodle. Here's one called Squared, Foundation. I can't vouch for any of these themes because I haven't used most of them other than Fordson. But you see that they give you a lot of options, and they will just rebrand your entire Moodle really quickly. And so in order to install them, let's say I wanted to install this one. You always have to be careful to make sure that you get the right version. So if you look in versions, you'll see that I wouldn't want to install this one, for instance, on my Mountain Moot Moodle because it's a 3.9 and the most current version is only compatible with Moodle 3.8. But imagining that I wanted to do that, I could just click download and that'll save the zip file to my computer. And then when I go to, I'm going to go to Site Administration, Plugins, and I would go to, I don't have upload plugins here because I'm using my Learning Consultant's unhosting. But if you were using a normal hosting situation rather than unhosting, which loads in plugins from another side, you'd see an upload plugins here, and you could drag and drop that zip into the upload plugins, and it'll deploy it for you. Oh, Janine, thank you for that. There's a lot of great themes out there, so I want you to keep in mind that you can change the way that your Moodle looks using themes. Unfortunately, not within Moodle Cloud. Moodle Cloud has us restricted to make sure that we don't break anything that is important. So the last couple things that I want to talk about is site-wide blocks. I make a lot of use of site-wide blocks with the Mountain Moot. For example, I've got this Moot coin block here, and then I've got this sponsors block here, and you probably notice they appear on every page. So let's go to your Moodle site, and let's go to the front page of your Moodle site. And let's turn editing on right here in this drop-down menu. And when you do that, you'll see add a block appear over here in this drawer. So go ahead and click add a block. And there's a lot of different kinds of blocks that you can add. I'm actually going to add just an HTML block. So if you just want to put some content over there in the top right-hand corner, all your pages, HTML block is a great way to go. So go ahead and add an HTML block. And then you'll see that we've made space over here on the right side for our new HTML block. We click this drop down here. We click Configure New HTML Block. And let's say I wanted to add helpful links. I'm going to title my HTML block Helpful Links. And then this is that same text editor that we see everywhere else in Moodle. So let's maybe, if I wanted to go to Gmail, maybe I'll put a link to Gmail by putting Gmail there. I don't know what it is, mail.google.com, I think. And so I can create that link. I could even make it a little bit bigger using these large header here, so it'll show up and it'll be a purple link. And then maybe I want to include a link to Google. I'll do that. I'm gonna make that a little bit larger. And maybe I'll include a link to Mountain Moot. And this is just really, really basic. I'm just using text and I'm putting in links to different websites. Now, under where this block appears, right now by default it's on the front page only, but as the administrator I can display it throughout the entire site. So I would go ahead and select that. And then you select its default region. With Boost, everything goes to the right anyway, so you're going to wind up on the right. And then you can select weight. So if I want this always to appear at the very top, which I do, I'm going to give it a -10 weight so it floats upward to the top. And that will allow the block to be at the very top of the page. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And then we'll head back to the site and we'll see that we've got these helpful links here. And what's even better is anytime we're on any page in the site, our helpful links are going to show up there on the right-hand side. So this is the way to create site-wide blocks so that you can add helpful things for your students. You'll notice in that Carol Moodle, we had links to all the students, the places where they enroll, the places where they might add money to their accounts, where they might do X, Y, or Z. So when you're thinking about designing a Moodle, what's going to be most useful for people up in that top right-hand corner, you could put a block there to do that. There are also other blocks that you might want to add site-wide. You can add just have a look here. You can see we've got an administration, blog menu, a global search, course or site summary. So I'm going to go ahead and add this course and site summary block here. And that way, when I turn editing off, I don't believe I'll get anything in there because I'm not a user, but the basic student will see the use there. So let me configure this. The students would see all the courses they're enrolled in. I, of course, as the administrator, don't see anything. Oh, Eric, that's a good, the Twitter feed, that's really cool. Twitter's recently updated their API, which makes it a lot more difficult to add a Twitter feed, which is why we don't have one on the Mountain Moot this year. We usually do, but I substituted that for a page. You could also add any number of other things up here. If you wanted to make buttons instead of these links right here, I'll show you a neat little trick to do that easily. Let's say I wanted to add, instead of saying Mountain Moot, I wanted to have my Mountain Moot logo be my button. I'm going to go ahead and size this down a little bit just so it's not so huge. So there it is. I would highlight it, and then I would make that image a link to mountainmoot.com and click create link. Then I can just get rid of this so that when I save these changes, you'll see all throughout the site now, even with editing off, I can click on Mountain Moot and it'll actually take me over to the Mountain Moot website. So anytime you have an image that you want to use as your button, or you could use CSS to create the button type. That's what we're actually doing on Carol's Moodle. But from a very basic standpoint, you can use just an image to be your button. So if you create, an image that you like to be your button, then you can certainly do that. So those are some ideas for how to customize site-wide. I want to show you one more thing about the front page. If you click from your front page on this settings wheel up here and go to edit settings for the front page, you can actually manage what students see when they're logged in. So I could, for example, change the site name to, Ryan's Mountain Moot site. I'm just going to call the short name MT Moot site. That'll be what appears in the tab and in this area over here. You'll see that when we save changes. Anything you type here will appear on the front page. So if you want to add items, you can do that there. And then when you're logged in, let's say that I wanted to show site announcements. Then after that, I wanted to show a combo list. And then after that, I wanted to show a course search box. I can set those items to manage my front page when students log in. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And then you'll see I've changed the front page here to include the site announcements at the very top, so I could add a new topic. This combo list shows the categories. So we were talking about making categories visible to students. This combo list is what we're using on the Mountain Moot to help you navigate through the sites. And then there's a search courses button that I added. So you could actually search for, all courses that have tests in them. and it'll show me that we've got test course 1 here that's got Amy's student in it. So you can have your students, if you need them to search for courses, that course search box is the way to do that. So any new topic that you add to site announcements is going to email out to everyone in the site, and that's been happening. You probably see that happening on the Mountain Moot. So this is essentially what I have set up for the Mountain Moot front page. So do I have any questions about modifying the look and feel at a very basic level? Again, this is just an introduction. We could have conversations about modifying the look and feel of Moodle all day long, and people do, and it's a blast. And I've seen really creative things done with Moodle, but I just kind of want to get your feet wet so you know what's out there. All right. I don't see any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and I think the last thing I wanted to talk about is automating course and user creation. I can't really demonstrate this because I don't have a system to tie into, but I'll show you where it is in site administration. Under plugins, under authentication, if you go to manage authentication, you'll see that we have some different types of authentication that are built in here. There's also LDAP is available as a plugin. I thought it was in core, but I guess it's not anymore. But you can manage, you can turn on LTI or MNet or Shibboleth or OAuth. So there's a lot of ways for you to create authentication, but you're empowered to turn them on. So I just want you to know where to find them, and then you'll need to contact your student information system manager to make sure that you agree on how you're going to set up your authentications. Yes, I have set up LDAP authentication. In fact, we were using authentication here, LDAP, to not only authenticate but enroll users. We have since switched over to SAML. Eric's got a question, what is LDAP? The other people probably have the same question. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, and it is a way for you to take your login management at an enterprise level and have people log in with different permissions to different systems all over the place. So as someone who is a Moodle administrator and not an authentication manager, I haven't got all of the answers to that, although I do have a guy that works here who's also named Ryan. That would be a really great resource for you, who might be around in some of those lunch or evening sessions. And we did, Holly, from LDAP to SAML, it took steps. So if you're wondering how to get away from LDAP, we did that recently here at Carroll, and we started by moving just the authentication over to SAML, and then we moved into adding course enrollments from SAML, and that was part of our transition to Google. So, and SAML was a preference by our site-wide network administrator because it plays more nicely with Google and some of the other services that we were using, namely Okta, our single sign-on. So I don't want to get too far outside of my wheelhouse here. Other than to say that SAML works better with Google and with Okta, according to my network administrator. And there are lots of other people here who know a lot more about that than I do. So look for some of those authentication people in the social sessions, and they'll be able to explain that to you. All right, so that concludes everything that I wanted to show you as sort of an introduction to administering a Moodle. And I would like to have, if you have any more questions, I would like to have them in the chat, or if anybody wants to add comments, please enable yourself and let everybody know. And if not, we can end a little early and spend time maybe messing around with your theme in your Moot site, or maybe enroll some of your colleagues in your Moodle Cloud site, so that you can play around with some of those settings. Great thing about Moodle Cloud is you're not going to break it, and you can just get really ambitious with the Moodle administration over there. So it takes about an hour for Zoom to update, to encode and make available for download the MP4. But I plan to have this recording and all of the recordings for the other sessions up by the end of the day today, by which I mean probably later. So Randy, can you explain that comment a little bit more?
Excuse me, which comment?
About the SAML not a specific authentication method?
Yeah, so SAML can have different, so if you're coming from, let's say you have 3 different systems and you all want them to go into Moodle, and the authentication on those 3 systems is different, SAML doesn't care what's on that other end as long as it can connect. So it can be multi to one, whereas LDAP is only LDAP to LDAP. You got to have the LDAP on both ends. So classic case is Microsoft, you know, on an internal Microsoft network, just, you know, LDAP comes out. LDAP goes into Moodle. But SAML can have different things on the other end. So if you're a systems person and you don't want to make them all the same, you just need to keep them what they are. That's what, you know, that's your choice. Multiple into one.
So SAML, yes, is a plugin option. I think there's more than one that does it, but again, that's getting into more the network people and the Randy. Randy's type of people.
It's already, yeah, SAML's already built into standard Moodle, and it's just like LDAP is, and it's a plugin that's already in the core, and you just have to turn it on and configure it. Good luck.
And yes, that's a topic for a whole nother session. Yeah.
That's a whole nother session.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the session unless I see any other questions. Please remember to go to the site, the course for this session, and fill out both the evaluation, and if you're looking for OPI credits, that OPI reflection, 25 Moot coins for filling out the evaluation and 5 for filling out the OPI credit bit. And remember, if you don't fill out that OPI digest, we won't be able to give you credit. So make sure you do that. That's how we're tracking your credit hours for your participation in these sessions. All right, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you coming, and don't forget we've got a social event tonight in Remo, so come and hang out with us and be social, because the Mountain Moot is based on social connections, and your success as a Moodle administrator especially is greatly augmented by knowing people like Randy who can help you out. Randy's saved me a few times, so. Yeah, make friends with people and be good. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I will see you hopefully in the social time tonight. Bye.